why she is hot and cold with you. There is something that confuses a lot of men in modern dating. And it doesn't happen once. It happens repeatedly. A woman shows interest, then distance. She talks to you with energy, then suddenly becomes cold. She replies quickly, then takes hours or even days. Then just when you start pulling away emotionally, she comes back again, like nothing happened. And this cycle repeats itself over and over again. One moment you feel like you are building something real. The next moment you feel like you're losing her completely. And this is what most men call mixed signals. But the real problem is not the signals themselves. It is how men interpret them. Most men assume, if she is inconsistent, she must be confused about me. Or, if she comes back, she must be interested. Or, if she pulls away, I must have done something wrong. So they start analyzing every message, every delay, every emoji, every reply time. Try to decode something that feels hidden. But in reality, mixed signals are not always about hidden meaning. Sometimes they're simply a reflection of uncertainty, emotional fluctuation, and lack of direction. And once you understand what is actually happening, you stop getting emotionally controlled by it. So let's break it down in detail. 1. Her emotions don't stay in one place. One of the first things you need to understand is that emotions are not stable. They are fluid. They change based on mood, energy, stress, environment, and even timing. So in one moment, she may feel very open and engaged with you. She might be laughing. She might be replying fast. She might be giving attention. And in another moment, she might feel tired, distracted, or emotionally unavailable. So she pulls back, not because something changed between you two, but because something changed inside her. Now here's where most men get it wrong. They assume every emotional shift is a relationship signal. So when she becomes distant, they panic. When she comes back, they overvalue it. And they get stuck in an emotional roller coaster that she is not even consciously controlling. Because from her side, it may just be normal emotional fluctuation. But from your side, it feels like hot and cold behavior with meaning attached to it. 2. She is trying not to look too available. Another important reason is perception. Some women are very aware of how they appear in communication. They don't want to look too eager. They don't want to look too attached. They don't want to seem like they are always available. So they naturally balance their behavior. Sometimes they respond fast. Sometimes they delay. Sometimes they show energy. Sometimes they hold back. To them, this feels normal and controlled. But to the man receiving it, it feels inconsistent. Because you're expecting a steady pattern, but she is intentionally or subconsciously creating variation, not necessarily to confuse you, but to maintain control over how she is perceived. And that difference alone creates mixed signals. 3. She has not made a final emotional decision. Not every situation is decided. Sometimes she simply hasn't decided how she feels yet. She may like you. She may enjoy your presence. She may feel comfortable talking to you. But she has not fully defined what you are in her mind. So her behavior reflects that uncertainty. One day she leans in. Another day she pulls back. Because internally she is still evaluating, still observing, still comparing feelings, timing, and possibilities. And when someone is undecided, their behavior will always look inconsistent. Not because they're playing games, but because they're not settled internally. 4. You are in the undefined category of her life. This is where most confusion comes from. There are defined relationships, and there are undefined connections. In defined relationships, behavior becomes more stable. There is clarity. There is expectation. There is direction. But in undefined situations, everything is flexible. No labes, no structure, no commitment. So communication becomes casual, sometimes intense, sometimes distant, because there is no framework holding it steady. So you become someone she talks to, but not someone she has chosen. And in that undefined space, mixed signals naturally exist, because nothing is fixed. 5. Her life is affecting her behavior more than you realize. Another important point is context. People do not exist in isolation. Her mood, energy, and communication style are influenced by her daily life. Stress from work, pressure from school, family issues, friends, personal emotions. All of these things affect how she interacts. So sometimes when she is distant, it has nothing to do with you. And sometimes when she comes back with energy, it also has nothing to do with you. But many men take every shift personally. They think, she changed because of me, when in reality, she simply changed because her life changed in that moment. 6. She is controlling the speed of the connection. In many situations, one person naturally controls the pace. How often you talk, how fast replies come, how deep conversations go. And if she is the one controlling that rhythm, it will naturally feel inconsistent to you because you are reacting to her pace instead of setting your own. So when she speeds up, you feel excited. When she slows down, you feel confused. But from her side, she is simply adjusting the speed based on how she feels in the moment, not necessarily trying to send signals, just managing comfort. 7. You are interpreting moments instead of patterns. This is one of the biggest mistakes men make. They focus on individual moments. A good conversation means progress. A slow reply means loss of interest. A sudden message means she misses me. But real understanding does not come from moments. It comes from patterns over time, because moments can mislead you, but patterns tell the truth. If someone is genuinely interested, the overall direction becomes clearer over time, even if there are small fluctuations. But if the pattern stays inconsistent for long periods, that itself becomes information, not confusion, information. 8. She is keeping the connection without defining it. Sometimes, people keep connections alive without defining them, because defining things requires decisions, and decisions require responsibility. So instead of saying yes or no, she stays in the middle, not committing, not rejecting, just maintaining contact. And this creates the illusion of possibility. But possibility is not progress. It is just delay without closure. Why this feels so emotionally intense. Mixed signals create emotional dependency because your brain tries to find logic in inconsistency. You start thinking, why is she like this? What does this mean? Did I do something wrong? And this mental loop keeps you emotionally attached, not because of clarity, but because of uncertainty. Uncertainty is what keeps you thinking, and thinking keeps you attached. What you should stop doing. Stop overanalyzing every message. Stop assuming emotional shifts always have meaning. Stop trying to decode behavior like a puzzle. And stop building expectations from inconsistent patterns. Because inconsistency cannot give you stability. What you should start doing. Start observing patterns over time. Start focusing on direction instead of intensity. Start paying attention to consistency instead of emotion. Because emotion changes fast, but patterns reveal truth slowly. And truth is what actually matters. If there is one thing to understand from this video, it is simple. Mixed signals are not always intentional manipulation. Sometimes they are emotional fluctuation. Sometimes they are uncertainty. Sometimes they are lack of definition. And sometimes they're just a situation without direction. But the most important thing is this. You don't get clarity by analyzing harder. You get clarity by observing longer. And when you finally stop reacting to every moment, you start seeing the pattern clearly for what it really is. Click the subscribe button, like, share, and follow for more.